Good afternoon. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. We decided to organize a cycle of seminars regarding the European project. It is a joint initiative of our department and our PhD program. The seminars are devoted to PhD students, to research associates, and to everyone who is interested to know more about the research activities developed in our department and granted by European Commission. Two projects are large-scale integration, and we are the coordinator. In detail, Professor Giorgi is the coordinator of Teraflux, and Professor Patikizzu is the coordinator of WERA. Today, the department is involved in 12 projects, for a total contribution of 342,000 euros. That impacts on the budget of this year for 1,932,000. The first seminar has an informative content. That is a panoramic overview from FP7 to H2020 will be discussed, and some testimonies about administrative management and the coordination of our FP7 project will be presented. And now, Professor Maci, the coordinator of our PhD program, will present the overview from FP7 to H2020 programs. Professor Maci.
Thank you, Santina. And I would like to repeat the title of my presentation, which is an overview of the two program, FP7, which is a 7 framework program that start from involve 7 years and will finish at the end of 2013, and H2020, which is the 8th framework program, which is called H Horizon 2020 because it will end at 2020. So I will make some small couple of words about the purpose of these seminars, of this series of seminars, which have the double scope to improve the capability of, or to try to improve our capability to catch financial support from the European Union. And the second one is also make some testimonials, so some information about the research activity which is done in the department in a framework of the European Union financial support, which are actually the most rich part, or the richer part of the financial support of our department of research. The seminars are directed to the PhD students and are accredited for the PhD program. If you follow all the seminars, you can get 2 credits, and this can play within your study plan in a certain percentage. You can follow also part of this, and we can also integrate it with other seminars if you wish, but actually we can discuss and negotiate a bit your study plan if you don't follow everything. But I would like to suggest you to follow all the seminars because it is a very easy way to learn something about our department. This is the main goal. This first meeting is actually an informative content, so you should just know what the 7th framework program is and how it is mapped on the next framework program. First of all, let me say which is the summary objective of the talk. First, we will make an overview of FP7 about the key priorities and the budget breakdown, the convenience and motivation to answer to a EU call, economical geographical distribution and also economical return. We will say something about the economical return, funding schemes, and the residual costs in FP7 in case somebody of you are interested in applying or answer to the call. In the second part, actually, we make an overview of H2020, the key priorities and budget breakdown as we have done in the FP7. Comparison with the H2020, we will see how the FP7 is actually mapped on the H2020. And societal challenges and industrial leadership teams, we will insist a little bit on it. So what is the framework program? Is a tool of the European Union for making financial support to the research, any type of research, with a particular emphasis on scientific research. And it started in '84, and from '84 we have a 7 framework program of 7 years each, and the financial support is increased gradually during the year, and these violet columns are relevant to the framework program in which we are now, which is the 7th framework program that runs from 2007 till 2013, and will finish in 2013. In particular, the entire amount of money delivered by European Union is around the 50 billion. 1 billion is 1,000 million. So it's a huge amount. 50 billion is a huge amount. And around the 10 billion have to be delivered in 2013. And so the 7th framework program is still interesting because the 10 billion, so 10,000 million have to be still delivered. Now, why it is interesting to answer to a EU call? This is the first question that we have to ask to ourselves. I make here some points which could be, just a small part of the reasons why it is important to do it. But they are, in my opinion, the most fundamental. First of all, the financial support of the European Union can cover from 50% to 100% of the cost of research and development. And this is itself is a good motivation to start with. And cover personal, overheads, expenses, equipments, and so on. It gives a unique opportunity to work in international teams. There's another important issue, is there is no many possibilities to work with people that do research in an external environment, external to Italy, except in mobility programs. So if you go outside, you stay there, but it's not the same thing. This is a cooperation among various researchers that works in different locations. And this is extremely important, with a precise objective, with a timeline, and so on. It is not very difficult to justify the money spent. So the only thing, you have a certain degree of freedom when doing the research, but you have to motivate and to justify the money you spend, including those spent in your financial support in case there is. And the rules and procedure are extremely clear and transparent. If you know well, the rules are clear, much clearer with respect also to other national or regional programs. And the benefits of the advance payment is probably the best thing. The number one, we can be paid in advance, and with the present situation, especially at the University of Siena, this is fundamental. You cannot start with a scholarship, a PhD position, or whatever, postdoc program, without having in advance the money. If you don't have it, our university say no possibility to start. So, since the European Union paid in advance, this creates unique opportunities to make some financial support or researcher, for instance. Professor Giorgi and also Professor Perdigizzo will make the budget to call a position of a researcher, for instance, temporary researcher, to have the tenure track here in a department. Now, so there is a good motivation to do it. So why some people don't apply to this program? Why doesn't everyone apply? This is what we can ask to ourselves. Because essentially applying is time consuming. It is competitive, the call are competitive, the possibility of success is very low. It ranges from 5 to 10%. Sometimes it's difficult to understand which are the right branches into the meanders of the framework program that fits very well your idea. It's difficult to understand it. You should have some help sometimes. You need to create an international partnership. It is important to have at least, not important, mandatory, sorry, to have at least 3 countries involved in your project. So if you have your friend, Italian friend, it's good, you can be involved, but if you increase too much the amount of persons in Italy, you don't create a strong project. A strong project is the one that involves as much as possible other countries, and in particular East Side countries that have particularly well seen, well accepted from the European Union, in order to involve them in the research of Europe, obviously. The proposal should be excellent, and normally the person has the skill to do it. So this is another key point. If you have an idea, and this idea has no impact, but you are able to do it, but this does not interest to anybody, you have not to try to do it. You have to ask to somebody else to have the financial support. So it is important that your idea, especially from those key priorities that are top-down, that fits very well, which are the requirement of the European Union, and your idea should be anyway excellent. But if your idea is excellent and you follow the guidelines of the European Union, you have much more probability to win. So it's not just the 5% or 8%, this is a statistic. But if you get a good project and you are able to do it, the probability are higher and higher, also 30% if you wish. The other reason why people does not apply sometimes is because the researcher don't love to make a coordination and management sometimes. They would like to do research. They don't want to make coordination, support, management, and fill all the papers that you need. There is a lot of papers to fill. So sometimes this has helped the certain firms, certain companies to grow up essentially to support the researchers. So they don't do research, they just write proposals, and they collect and make networking and write the proposal for you. So if sometimes I was talking with my colleague Matteo before, there are some companies that actually are involved so massively in a certain specific part of the program that are able to win like 50% or more of the project inside that program, that branch, that call. So for instance, there is a call of 100 million, and this percentage of 50% is covered by only one company that are able to write so well the proposals in different disciplines that they get the money. And you imagine which is the huge amount of money that they can gain. But these companies are not able to do research. They are making just 10% of the amount, only in case the project is get a good output. So if you win the project, you can pay them. Otherwise, no need. And it is important to know which company is very good in doing this job. So you are not obliged to be able to write a proposal. It is obviously very important to do it because you have to control, you have to check, and you can cross-check your scientific research with the writing of a good formal proposal. But in any case, it's not mandatory to are able to write it. Let me show this interesting picture. This is a picture that gives the geographical distribution from of researchers and budget in the 7th framework program from 2007 to March 2011. It's a little bit old, but I mean it gives you the idea. These are the number of people, of researchers. You see in France, Germany, UK, Italy have the most, it's a large part of researchers involved. It is 8,426 in Germany, for instance, 6,000 in France, almost 8,000 in UK. And next, Spain and Sweden and Benelux countries are in an amount between 2,000 and 5,000. So these are the measured countries, European countries concerned with the number of people. And these are the budget. Budget is almost in line with the number of researchers. I say almost, I don't say exactly proportional. Because if you see, for instance, Italy is invited there, is in red here. It means that the revenue in Italy is a little bit lower with respect to the mass of researchers involved in the program. Which is the reason of it? Have you some idea which is the reason why the revenue, the money is less than the number of researchers proportional to the other countries, obviously? Have you an idea why? Because my colleagues that work on it obviously know very well this issue, because we have always fighting about trying to do it, because the
writing proposal.
Yeah. Because one of the most important things is that a PhD student, I make you an example, the PhD student in Italy is paid half with respect to the PhD student in Germany. So in order to get the same money from the European Union, we have to declare twice the number of hours, especially for PhD students, and this is also true, a little bit less now, but also for postdoc. I mean, so this creates certain difficulties in Italy to make it. So there is another interesting aspect that was underlined by our ministry some time ago, that the economic return of Italy about the framework program is almost in half of what we put on the table. It's been not only we made the signature of the famous document
in which the money that we put on the framework program is proportional to the what you call the PIL, the gross domestic product, the gross prodotto interno lordo per l'italiano. The gross domestic, so it's a percentage of the gross domestic product, and this means that we are obliged to put it, but our return, economic return, is not at the same level. Is much lower. The ministers say 50%, probably it's not exactly 50%, but I mean, it's very low. So there is a certain pushing a strategy of trying to convince people to make this proposal. The proposal to apply and to answer to the call. Now, let me just show you rapidly, which is the breakdown of the priority, the FP7. Now this is obviously old because we are almost at the end, but it is interesting also to understand how this is mapped to the H2020. So the FP7 priority program is broken down in a part which is called cooperation, which is more than half of the total cake. And another part which is called ideas, people, and capacities. And there are also other things, but less important. I mean, these are the four key priorities of the 7th framework program. Among these, two are of type top-down. The cooperation as a top-down program. I mean, top-down and bottom-up, which is the difference. Top-down is something which is actually dictated by requirements of European Union, while bottom-up is more treating topics which comes from the bottom, so it comes from the researcher more than from European Union. And the cooperation, this is cooperative program, which are the most important part, is also include a part which is called FET, Future Emerging Technology, which is a part of ICT in the 2nd framework program, while in the 8th framework program is not linked to ICT, is more general, and which is a bottom-up, and is bottom-up very, very vast. Mauro Baghi will talk about it afterwards. The ideas program is entirely bottom-up and is intended to grant talented scientists that have a high impact on the new and fast frontier research, as they call it, frontier research. Research with a long view, sometimes also a little bit visionary, and about basic research. So this is the program for basic research ideas. People in this is the program for mobility. The Marie Curie actions are framed there. And the capacities is indeed optimizing the use of research infrastructure and enhancing innovative capacity for small and medium enterprises to benefit from research done by others. Concerning with the cooperation is breaking down in a form, more complex form. So you have a part of transport, social, economical sciences and humanities, space, security, health, food, agriculture and biotechnology, information and communication technology, nano-production, energy, and environment. These are the various specific topics of the program cooperation. This is the information and communication technology part, which is actually the larger one, is about 10 billion, 10,000 millions of 10 billion. In 2013, we still have to deliver, this is the only years break down by teams, so include both cooperation and others, and ideas, for instance. This is the basic top-down, bottom-up program.
So we are still to deliver, so the European Union has still to deliver 1.5 billion in 2013. This is the number. And also more about ideas. But this is something which is interesting very much to us, because ICT is an information communication technology, which is extremely important, obviously. It's very well focused to us. While this one is the idea is completely free. So everybody can apply, not only the one that has something about ICT. Now, that is something interesting to see that the ICT, as I mentioned, also include the so-called the Future Emerging Technology Program. Mauro Bari will talk about it, but it's split down in 3 parts of the FET Open, Proactive, FET Proactive, and the FET Flagship, as you call it. FET Flagship are a monster program of research that actually involve a lot of institutions. This is one of the most interesting projects. It's called the Human Brain Project. It's a FET Proactive and involves 87 participants plus another 30 external, and they will probably get 1 billion euro. It's a project of 1 billion euro. That's in 1,000 million euro. And I mean, it's not perfectly sure that they will gain all this money, but because they have to be checked continuously, audited continuously by the European Union, so maybe that as a timeline is stopped and they cannot continue because they don't produce good results. But anyway, there was also 6 participants to this big flagship program, and 2 of them have been granted. One is this one, and the other one we will see in a moment. The Human Brain Project is everything concerning with brain, so the neuroscience, medicine, and future computing. And we obviously are very interested in that, because in our PhD we are a part of bioinformatics. Moreno is here and can obviously be very interesting in entering in one of these, because I mean, they cannot spend 1 billion euro easily. No? So they are searching continuously. For instance, I have a strict contact with my colleague of the laboratory of nonlinear spectroscopy, LENS is called, which is in Florence, is coordinated by a professor of physics, which is called Francesco Pavone. I contacted him because he is one of the coordinator of one word package of it. So one word package, since the word package are 11, sorry, one word package can manage also 100 million euros, which is a huge amount of money. And I invited him to make one of the seminars in the next future, and he accepted. So we will try to coordinate one of his presentations in the next, probably in the next month or in the next couple of months, in order to illustrate better this particular program, which is an example, a unique example. There is something similar in the United States about a human brain, which is not yet started. Well, this is starting in January. This is the other one, which is quite surprising, as called the Graphene Flagship. It's composed, you look, only by 9 institutions, not 87 like the other one. And you get 1 million again. Graphene. It involves 2 or 3 Nobel Prizes inside. So, but I mean, if you look at a little bit better, there's a National Research Council. So the entire CNR in Italy is involved in there. So there's a huge amount of institution that goes inside through the CNR. And for instance, a European Science Foundation in France, which is a big institution.
and they are in there for pumping and delivering money to other institutions. But in any case, all the things are started from university, from Charlotte University, Manchester, Lancaster University, and Cambridge. So these four universities did everything, and next it involved the other persons. But actually, they started with a small kernel. They started essentially by the two Nobel Prizes of graphene, which won in 2009, I think, the Nobel Prize. So now I would like to show something which is very sad for us. I decided to put this transparency in the next one because actually I'd like to stimulate you a little bit more. I would like to compare this one with the new, the ministry support for research. It's quite interesting because I put here the global amount of 2013, which is 10 billion, so 10,000 million, and in ICT is 1.5 billion, so 1,500 million euro. Approximately in 2013, it could be foreseen that Italy could get something about 1/10 of this amount. If you make the statistics before, so it's 150 million euro only for ICT, so only for things that concern our job. The other, the ratio between ICT and the total amount is 6.6. So if you make the ratio between this and this is 6.6. Okay. Now look at our ministry. Our ministry is giving us this amount, which is 160. I mean, in the program 2011, but will be delivered in 2013. So I take in 2011 to be delivered in 2013. So the comparison is fair. And the total amount is 160 for total. And ICT is already breaking down, so it's around 8. I don't know if it's exactly 8, but it's around 8. So 8 million. If you compare these 8 million with these 150 million that predictably Italy will come in return, is a factor like 20. If you look at 2012, delivered in 2014, this is also more sad because it's only 36, and this 36 gives 1.8 to ICT if the ratio between this and this are respected also in 2012. So at the end of the story, I make it the ratio, and this means that Europe, despite the fact that our economic return is 50% of what it should be, it is anyway 18 or 19 times more in ICT of what we can get from the ministry. So this is a very impressive number. This means, and if you make the comparison with 2014, this number is 83. It means that you have 83 more chances to win a European project than a clean project of relevant Italian interest. Or maybe you can get, if you win, even be the chance, 83 times more money. You can see it in different ways. Okay, so this is the breakdown of our ministry distribution. Now, this is another sad transparency. So I was not very convinced about showing this, but I do it anyway. This is the number of researchers involved in the various projects of the PhD program in all the first 25 universities.
in order of number of researchers involved in FP7. So if you look at the first one, you see Cambridge, Oxford, Imperial College, ATH, the KU11, APFL, University College of London, Copenhagen, BTU, etc. You don't find any Italian university in the first 25. And this is a quite this is all the disciplines, not only ICT and everything. I found it in a KU11 website, and you see that you see from the same website that the first Italian university, which is Bologna, if I remember well, is lower and lower. So we should be stimulated much more in making this application to the framework program. Now, I'm getting a little bit late, but I would like to say some words about the funding schemes for the European project. We have three types of funding schemes. So the first is called collaborative projects. It involves a small-scale focused research project, which are called synthetic straps, and large-scale integrated projects, IP, that are different dimensions and different number of researchers involved. Next, the network of excellence, and next, coordination of support action. These are the most important, most frequent type of funding schemes that you find in the calls. The first one, straps, are of the order of 15 participants and the order of a couple of millions, in average, a couple of millions euro of the case of financial support from the European Union. This is the normal cooperative collaborative research. So you organize your topic, you answer to the call that in most of the cases are inside a cooperation, the part of the program which is called cooperation. And you have not to worry about other issues like demonstration activity, technical transfers of background, training activity, dissemination, and so on. While these other, the integrated project, involve a lot of networking in the consortium, bigger research project of the order of 10 million, and with 10 or 20 participants. You have also training program inside, dissemination program, and more strong aspect concerning management, etc. The other one is the so-called network of excellence that actually are going down, so they are not anymore financial, I mean, only small part financial in the 8th framework program, but it was extremely important in the previous program, in the 7th, and it gives the opportunity to people to cooperate and to organize their research. So this is not done for developing new research, but to organize a researcher, the research that is already done by institutions. And these are something which is similar to the collateral activity that are in the integrating project. So training activity, dissemination activity, networking, etc. But they are belonging only to this. They are not new research. And obviously the number are lower with respect to the million euro. With respect to the participant, indeed, they are pretty big. Because you need money only to coordinate, not to develop new research. And next, there are coordination and support actions that are action in coordination with some of these collaborative projects. So if you would like to develop some dissemination or training or etc. associated with an integrating project, you can answer to a call, which there are some dedicated calls, obviously, they are not separated. So, yeah, if also time topic, you can answer it because you have done already, for instance, an integrated project, and you would like to continue after the end because you have to develop other issues like implications, dissemination, etc. So these are the participants are almost equivalent to this, but the money are much less. Whenever you do a research proposal, you are judged by these three, normally these three voices. So you write the proposal and you receive from the European Union through some expert that make the analysis of your proposal and judgment over these three voices. One is the scientific and technical quality that involves all these voices, soundness of concept and quality of objectives, progress beyond the state of art, contribution to the long-term integration and high-quality research, and this is especially for the network of excellence, contribution to the coordination of the high-quality research, especially for the coordination and support actions, and the quality and the effectiveness of the research methodology then associated with the work plan. The other voice, which is extremely important, is the impact. So the impact that your research has on the European society. This is you have to be careful about this voice if you want to do a proposal, because this gives you a lot of money. So it's not only necessary that you have a very good idea, but is only interesting few people. There should be of a certain impact on the society. Normally for the top-down projects, this is almost automatic because they know that certain type of project requirements has automatically some impact. But if you make it top-down, like effect or other ideas, for instance, so in application to the program ideas, you should be careful about the impact. Implementation, how these ideas and the dissemination is implemented in your program. For instance, they will require an appropriate management structure, the quality and the experience of the individual participants. You cannot take somebody that is not able to do something and you would like to give some job to him that is not able to do. So there is a certain matching between the experience of a certain partner and the work package that you attribute to your partner. Appropriate allocation and justification of the resources that we are committed to do, and this is obvious that if you ask 100,000 euros for something which actually requires a small prototype, you are not fair in your breakdown. You should change, and otherwise you keep a low score in the implementation. Low score means that you are cut at the beginning. So if you don't reach a certain level in one of these, you are cut directly. I'm very sorry. I would like just to see that all the call problem, unfortunately, all the calls that are in this framework program, in the 7th framework program, almost expired. They are only these two open. There is effect open, but it's only a particular type of effect open. And there is the ECT call 11. The ECT call 10 is expired. Was 700 million, so very rich call. But unfortunately, it's finished in January. There is another one open that will expire the 16th of April. And this is very interesting and probably the most interesting for us. And
I mean, there are some other, but I have not time to discuss about it. So this is the ECT call 11, deadline April 16, budget to 237. There will be about 80 projects to be funded, 5 to 8 integrated project, large scale integrated project, 45 to 55 STREPs, 15 to 25 CSA, so coordination support action, and we expected to receive 5 to 10 times more proposals than it can be funded. So we should have, in order to participate to it, excellent idea, research plan, strong balance, partnership, proposal, professionally written and well presented. Obviously, this is always true, but I mean, at the end of the program is much more important, because all the mass of people that have not won before goes in this program. Now, there is another interesting issue about the future of emerging technology. There is still a fact open in challenging current thinking. Probably Mauro will talk about it. And this is, there is also something about the flagship, but these are the CSA, so coordination and support action, which is actually a financial support for those people that would like to organize the next flagship. So it's not a money to win the flagship like 1 million, because it's about 1 billion, you know, but just money to prepare the proposal. Okay, so this is a different thing. And this, if you are interested in it, there is a website. Is the one that allows you to fund partnership. Is the one that I mentioned before, in which there are some ideas already mentioned to the call, and inside this they ask for partnership. The idea is already done, but I'm sorry. I would like to see which are the basic calls for the issue of the 11 calls. There are future networks, 48 million, nanoelectronics, photonics, scalable data analytics, smart energy grids, ICT for water resources, technology-enhanced learning, and flagship initiative, which is the one that I mentioned before, that is in support of the organization and flagship. Now, I'm very sorry. I would like to stop here, because otherwise I cannot give time to the others. I will probably complete this one in one of the next talk. I haven't talked about the H framework program, so the H 2020, but we have time to do it because it will start in 2014. I would like only to see that there is a certain transition period in between the 7 framework program and 8 framework program, in which there are some specific newly introduced priority, which is in this case called Artemis. There is this particular case devoted to embedded systems, so this could be interesting for us. There is a 72.3 million in 2013. The expression of interest will finish in 8th of March, so you have just to make an expression of interest to understand if there is a good mass of people. It's like a check that the European Union does in view of the 8th framework program. And the deadline for the presentation of proposal is 6th of June. And the themes are all the themes of the priority challenges, societal challenges of the H 2020. So the themes are not the one of the 7th framework program or the one of H 2020. I will stop here. I stop here. I'm going to give space for a couple of questions if you wish, and We will make the part of H2020 in one of the next meeting next month. So, please, questions. No questions?
Do you know how much is the budget for Horizon 2020, more or less?
80 billion. 80 billion. So it's a 50 billion in 2000. It's 80 billion, and for the first year it should be. So in 2014 it should be around 15 billion. So you see it's exponentially growing. So 50 billions in 7 and 80 billion in. I think that a couple of days ago they have taken the decision about these numbers, so maybe that is a little bit less, but I don't know. I don't have any undated number, so it is anyway around 80 million. Other questions?
There is a site where I can read more about this.
Yes, sure. It's called Cordis. You should go inside, you put Cordis, or you could make FP7. If you just digit FP7, you go directly there, and from there you can also write H2020. So if you put H2020 on Google, go there, and you will find a huge amount. I have just sent you the point of the iceberg. I mean, this is something which is extremely intricate in the website, but this is just something like a map in order to orient yourself when you go in the website. If there are no other questions, I will ask our colleagues from the university to make a presentation. If you, unfortunately, I have not advised them to make a presentation in English, so probably they would do it in Italian, but our PhD student probably will understand something anyway, and about the part relevant to management, administration, and other issues.